media about Donald Trump's health. They want it to stop right away. Michael Wolff has been reporting on Donald Trump for years. He has a very interesting scoop. Insiders at the White House, you know, the Caroline Levitts and others, they are furious about the attention that the media is finally giving. And it took long enough, didn't it? To the weird bruising on Trump's hands, to the swollen ankles, to the cognitive slips. We are finally getting some discussion of it, and the White House isn't happy. Listen to this.
Michael, what are you hearing about Donald Trump's health? I did notice the extra bruise and the photograph that the White House put off, the official photograph they put out with him and the South Korean premier, and they cut him off at the ankle so we couldn't see his ankle spilling over.
Well, the only thing that I'm hearing about his health is everyone is irritated that people are focusing on his health. I mean, the people around him, because and actually this makes some sense. What they see is Donald Trump always moving ahead, a man who doesn't stop, inexhaustible.
Inexhaustible. Well, he feels inexhaustible. But he doesn't.
On the other hand, they acknowledge one day he will just go over.
They say that?
Yeah.
How interesting. That's their perspective, that he will just keel over. He's going to
they
keep
have no
going.
The idea that he will fade, that he will become sick, that he will be mortal in that way that we all are, they actually don't accept. He will stop at one point.
I see that.
Will be it.
I see that because he does have still an enormous amount of energy. As we talked in our last time together, he has inexhaustible ability to speak.
And he is that, you know, because he is from another age. I mean, when I grew up, people would say, what happened? So, oh, he dropped dead.
Right,
in
right.
my mind, I always had that walking along the street, boom, gone.
Well, interestingly, that didn't happen to Jeffrey Epstein. There is so much in the Ghislaine Maxwell transcript. I read it cover to cover on a flight on the way back, frantically, sort of Jon Stewart-like, making comments all over it. But one of the things that I was most interested by, pruriently, I will say, is the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell, unreliable narrator, says that Jeffrey Epstein couldn't really have sex. So this is a sex story with two people who can't have
things.
Sex.
Before we go there exactly, I think we should go to the top line on this, which is what she delivered for Donald Trump.
Okay, so we've discussed that part before, but so the point here is the White House is not happy with the discussion of Donald Trump's health. And we've seen the White House try to kind of stage manage this. We are increasingly seeing Donald Trump holding his hand in a way where you can't see the bruises, or even covering the hand with his left hand, although the left hand is now bruised. We've seen the White House crop pictures to hide Trump's swollen ankles. Increasingly, people are referring to Trump as Cankles Caligula, which is a totally different thing than the Tangerine Tyrant or the Mango Menace. These are other names. They're issuing the minimum explanation for the bruising. Oh, he shook hands all day, and that's all that happened here. And that is not really convincing to too many people. And they've even now rolled out Ronnie Jackson, the same guy who said if Trump had a slightly better diet, he could live to 200. And Ronnie Jackson is saying Trump's health is great. We're going to talk about that later. And interestingly, even Alex Jones, you remember Alex Jones, right?
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
That Alex Jones.
Thank your lucky stars every day you're not Dave Pakman.
Thank your lucky stars every day you're not Dave Pakman. Alex Jones now is even saying Trump's got to slow down or he's going to collapse. So where we find ourselves as we are about to breach September of 2025 is that the White House thinks they can just shout down the conversation. The White House thinks they can come out and say, totally benign, chronic venous insufficiency, and he's doing so much great work shaking hands that he got bruises. But the more that the White House insists that Trump is the healthiest of any president, his energy surpasses any president in history, the more obvious it becomes that they're hiding something, and that Donald Trump's health is a political liability that they're not going to be able to spin away. Now, on Friday, we're going to talk about reports of a growing movement in J.D. Vance's circle based around the expectation that Trump may indeed drop dead during this presidential term and how Vance would capitalize on that, other than the obvious, which is he gets to be president. So we're going to deal with that on Friday. There are people who have written to me and have said, David, it's almost worse if Vance becomes president over Trump, because Trump at least is incompetent and Trump is losing a lot of the things he's trying to do in the courts, even if it doesn't get a lot of attention. J.D. Vance would actually get stuff done. So that's a conversation we will have Friday. We're going to take a break. Make sure you're on my Substack, substack.davidpakman.com, to see the full interview with Robert Reich that we did. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. People in my audience know I am a bit of a pastry connoisseur. Our sponsor, Wild Grain, is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are customizable depending on what you like and prefer. They've got their classic variety box. They've launched the new gluten-free box. They have a plant-based box that's 100% vegan. And it just takes the hassle out of baking, because all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less, nothing to clean up. My experience has been awesome. I love the croissants. I was having people over last week, half an hour before, preheat and throw them in the oven, and people love it. Definitely, the croissants are my favorite. The quality and the freshness of the items is extraordinary, and it is just so convenient. Go to wildgrain.com/Pacman to start your subscription and get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every box every month. The link is in the description.